Well, I agree with Ann. I mean, I do that a lot, especially when I'm stressed about something or someone has agitated me in the moment. I'll take a second, even if I have to drive off the side of the road, and take a minute and take these deep breaths. They really do work. That is absolutely a cleansing that I know I have applied. But when I first started taking the journey, and I didn't know what to do, I knew the way I was wasn't good, but I kind of didn't know what else to do. So I withdrew, as you spoke of, from the people that were around me and the voices that were outside of me, because I started learning real quick that it was the voices that's how I was basically living my life at the time. Unintentionally, but I just was. So I realized I had to find myself, and I know that's kind of a common thing you're hearing here today, but I'm 49 years old, and I too, when I was started in my 40s, I was discovering myself for the first time. I got married very young. I was 18. I had my kids at 23 and 26, and so I was now, after I've raised my kids, and I helped my husband at the time build our business together, and then all of a sudden, I can't have anything to do with the business. I lost everything except my kids. It was like, okay, so what do I do next? I don't even know who I am. That was the thing I needed to find out, who I was. So because I grew up in a church environment, my dad was a pastor. That's a little bit about my past. I always was raised with what my family taught me. Their faith was my faith. Not by choice, but because I was born into it. I didn't rebel. I was a good kid. I lived it. I embraced it, and I went on with my life. That was my life for over 25 years. But then I realized I need to figure out what Angie believes. Do I believe this because my parents taught it to me and because that's who I've been all my life? Or is there something else out there that I might be missing that I need to know a little bit more about? So I went on a soul searching or a faith searching journey, and I gleaned from all religions, all faiths, and I did a lot of research, I did a lot of reading, and in that time of reading, I stopped in the moment and I would say, okay, is this something that agrees with you? Do you believe in this that you're reading right here? Some things yes, some things I didn't. So I would take the things that I did believe, and long story short, it brought me around back to really the foundation of my belief system. Whether you are religious or not, to me, faith and religion are two different things. You have faith in something. You have to have faith in something, at least I believe that way, because that gives us hope that tomorrow can be a better day. If we can all agree that there's something bigger than ourselves out there that we can just look to for hope, that things can be better tomorrow. So I did that first and foremost. As I began that journey of faith, over time I started realizing that there were certain people that I had allowed into my life that were toxic. And they were part of the reason why I was unable to shake some of the oppression and the depression that I had been experiencing in my life. So as I began, more of myself began to uncover, and I began to see myself in a whole new way and learn how I like my eggs and learn what color my favorite color was, the things that were my choices. I started realizing, well, you're not really healthy for me, because when I leave your presence, I don't feel better about myself. All we did was talk about so-and-so and discuss the issues and the problems. The people I want in my life are people that when I walk away from their presence, I feel challenged, I feel empowered, I feel better about myself. So my support group, that is huge. That was another area I focused on. So my faith, my friends, I made sure that I had that strong support basis so that they were there for me when I was down, to not, I know we've all heard, if your girlfriend's crying, you get on the floor, you cry with her. I don't want that. I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of being on the floor. So if I'm crying, I want my girlfriends to call me, like two of them that are here today, and say, you know what, let's go out to dinner. Put your best dress on. Beverly she's my mentor and friend, and she's told me that many times. Go put your lipstick on, put your dress on, and let's go out. Let's feel better about ourselves, and if that's an act we can take to make ourselves feel better, then let's do that. It's just small steps. It doesn't happen overnight. It didn't for me. It has taken years to get to this place. But I wouldn't trade the journey that I've gone through to get to this point for anything. And then finally, the fitness part of it. Those are my foundations. It's important that I feel good. It's not important about how much that scale is. I can't remember the last time I stood on a scale. I mean, I'm fit today, I'm conditioned, I'm healthy, but it's because I felt good mentally first, and then I had good women in my life to glean from and that I respect and that I look to support me, and I support them. So it made me want to take care of my body. So those three are really the three things that I live daily with.
Well, and it's interesting because, first of all, I exercise for my head.
Yeah.
The byproduct and bonus is you get to stay in shape.
Exactly.
But I want to go back to that first point of faith, because interestingly, I didn't realize this until you kind of said it. I was raised Catholic, again, because that's what I was born into. But my parents divorced when I was very young, and I never got the full communion and all of that. So I really didn't have a religion, and when I was going through my depression and the bulimia, I knew I needed something, and I sat in Barnes & Noble and I read through Judaism, I did everything, I did all the research. So what I came to find was that I had to look inside here, because this is where it was. It wasn't I was going to find a God out there that was going to, you know. But my question to you is faith versus spirituality. Because I don't know if I have faith in things, but I think of faith more of a religion than spirituality.
I think that's because that's what society has taught us.
Okay.
Yeah, society. I've come out of religion. I no longer consider myself a religious person. I'm a spiritual person that has faith.
There you go.
I have faith that there are things out there that are out of my control, that if I put forth a positive attitude and I try to stay as strong in my mind, if I do my part, I feel like, you know, I was created to be here for this time and this season. And if I do what I can with what I have been blessed and given, then I have faith that that gift is going to help someone else. It's going to, someone else will get something from that. I think each of us have gifts that we've been created with. And for instance, I can't do what you've been gifted to do. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work for me. Only you can do with what you've been given inside of you and be effective with it. So if we look at it that way, there really is no competition. You don't have to beat down a bunch of walls to make things happen for yourself. Just live organically. Let things just unfold. Just be you and be all of you that you can be the best way possible.
And you just made an interesting point. So Jen Lee, who you guys all heard speak, I was at an event last night with her, and she was the MC there. And we're sharing a room here. And I woke up this morning, and I'm like, do you realize like how amazing you are? Like, I just see her, and I'm just like, how do you do this? And like, you have such a gift. And I heard something the other day that someone said to me, everybody, we all have gifts, but the problem is not everybody opens them.
That's true.
So you need to find out what that gift is and open it and share it. And sometimes it's a little overwhelming because you don't even know what it is. But once you start to find those passions, like we have, it works itself out. And you know, you also were talking about being healthy. It's also about being happy.
Yeah.
You know, and finding that place where you can really be happy. And it could be a very different blueprint, like for all of us up here. I didn't see my life being this way. But you have the ability to change that. So, okay, I'm sorry. So now.
No, it's okay. She asked, you know, what's something that you can do? And one of the quickest things that you can do to find your inner balance is to meditate. So there's lots of ways to meditate. I've traveled the country studying every summer what's the best technique and the easiest things for my clients through my life coaching. And I've discovered that HemiSync, it's hemispheric synchronization, and it's syncing the left and the right brain. So we all talk about balance. Well, really, what does that mean? Being in balance is being in balance with your whole body, your mind, body, and your spirituality, or your spirit, however you want to say it. But how do you find that the quickest? I suggest highly that you try to find a CD through HemiSync, because it does synchronize